Hey there, and welcome into the Daily Dynasty Show. My name is Spencer Smith, and today I am joined by Ben. What's up, Ben?
Man, I am doing great. Great slate of games yesterday. Can't wait to talk about
Oh,
it.
yeah.
How are you doing today?
Man, doing good. Can't wait to get into it. We're going to be talking about some three-game highlights, studs and duds from Week 9. And, of course, a draft. Top 5 Garden Center items to use in a battle. You don't want to miss a thing. Let's go. Alrighty, so let's kick things off here with the three-game highlight. We're going to start with the Bears and the Bengals. It was a 47-42 victory for the Bears, and this game was absolutely wild. We saw in the fourth quarter the Bears go from having a 98% chance with 2 minutes left in the game. They had a 98% chance to win, all the way to 28% in the blink of an eye when Flacco threw that final touchdown for the Bengals to bring it to 42-41. All the defense had to do was have a stop, one stop, wrap up Colston Loveland on that final catch, and more than likely it's game. At the very least, it would have been a tough kick, but alas, that's not what happened. Once Loveland spun out of the tackle and ran in for the final score, the Bears shoot all the way back up from a 25% back to a 99% chance to win, and we know how this game ends. What a game. Can we say that this game is game of the year? I feel like every week, the last couple of weeks, Ben, we've went back and forth on this game, that game. You know, the Broncos and the Giants, if that's not game of the year, at least it's definitely fourth quarter of the century. But, Ben, what was your take on this Bears and Bengals game?
Yeah, man, it was a wild, wild game. I mean, you wouldn't really expect this to be a shootout, but I'm just saying right now, as much as I love seeing the Bengals lose, but we gotta talk about Joe Flacco. Like, I mean, and this offense. This offense is just unlocked, and it sucks that their defense is the worst in the league. I know we've talked about it last episode. They were giving up 30-plus points in every one of their games.
Right.
No exception for yesterday. So, I mean, it was a fantastic game. It's better than the Broncos and Giants just because this was a shootout throughout and not just the fourth quarter. But even in the last 3 minutes of the game, I mean, it was a back and forth affair. And again, I think just the takeaway is just how good Flacco is. I mean, QB1, like, I mean, if we're talking about fantasy, right here, it's like, I mean, I think he's a QB1 going forward because of just how much he is peppering and targeting Higgins and Brown and Chase. And it's just, again, it's a fantastic game.
Yeah, it was incredible. And you bring up the defense there and how great this offense is. Now, what's crazy is a guy like Flacco had to be traded for this offense to kind of just get back to what it would have been had Joe Burrow stayed in. And I think I was watching this game and I was thinking, these offensive players after the game, almost all of them, the big name ones, Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, Chase Brown, all three of those guys literally just shooting at the defense. And we'll get into it when we talk about the news about what these defensive players actually said in reference to talking post-game. But my takeaway from this was, how can you be this mad at your defense when y'all, as in Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, and Joe Burrow, are literally eating up nearly 40% of the salary cap between those three players? What did you expect? You guys had to put up 42 points to still lose. Like, that is crazy. 42 points to still lose. And, Ben, I mean, honestly, if you're the Bengals, before midnight tonight, are you trading away Trey Hendrickson? Are you trying to trade away what you can to get assets going into this draft and going into next offseason in the free agency? I mean, because I don't imagine there's a way you can pay Chase Brown anytime soon with how bad this defense is and really the money that needs to be, thrown at the defense. What's your takeaway with the Bengals going forward?
Yeah, so I mean, hey, look, you look at, for example, the Pittsburgh Steelers have the highest payroll on defense, and yet we're one of the worst defenses in the league. So it's, I don't think it's one of those where you need to, like, roll out the truck for these players, because I don't really see a player on that defense that's like, hey, we need to sign him now, other than Hendrickson. But I think right now it's like a situation they had. I believe it was last year or 2 years ago, where like the offense was just going nuts, but their defense is just in the same spot, and it's like, to your point, how can Higgins and Chase eat up, like you said, almost half of the damn salary? And it's like you almost have to rely on these rookies or these 1-2 year vets that are going to be asking for a minimum. So at the end of the day, it's like you got to feel like you got to restructure your contract. But right now, with how competitive that AFC North division is, with the Ravens kind of surging, the Bengals are still in it. But they're going to need, I mean, again, that defense really, really needs some problem, because the offense is nothing to worry about. But I feel like right now, give it, I don't know, maybe 2 more weeks. If your defense doesn't do it anything more than the Ravens and Steelers are just going away with the division, fighting for it, then I think it's time to cut bait and just, hey, the offense is what it's going to be. We're going to try to ball out as much as we can, but the defense, get draft picks, trade away your players, unload. I mean, just open up, because. Yeah. I mean, again, is Jamar Chase, is T. Higgins, Joe Burrow going to stay for after their contract ends? Granted, that's pure, years down the line, but usually you want those players to stay for the whole career, because if this is what the offense is looking like with Joe Flacco, and we've already seen it with Joe Burrow, it's one of those situations where you kind of need to win now. Yeah. It's not like win now in terms of the next 2 to 4 years, because that's how long you have Burrow. But now, is Burrow going to be injury prone? I'm not saying he is, but he is kind of.
Well, it's that offensive line.
Going down that
the
line
offensive line isn't helping at all. And so that's why you're seeing Joe Burrow go down.
Not at all.
And my thing with the Bengals is, like, with this defense, the only reason that I can see them throwing this much money at the offense is a lot of times what these teams will do is they're mostly caring about in division, right? So you look at this division and you look at, on paper, before the season starts, the Steelers, they should have had a great defense. The Browns are going to have a great defense. The Ravens, they might have a mid defense. So with the Bengals, it's like, okay, we need an offense that's going to stack up against these defenses. And our defense, maybe they can hold their own. And with this offense, it's not like they're going to lose every game they score 40 points. I mean, 40 points is insane. You're going to win games with an offense like that. But what you will not do is, in the biggest moments, whether it's a playoff game or the Super Bowl, you cannot win a game if you do not have an offensive line and a defense. You can't win the Super Bowl that way. We saw it with Patrick Mahomes against the Eagles. We saw it with Patrick Mahomes against Tampa Bay. If you do not have a defense and an offensive line, you can maybe get to that point, but you will not get over the hump without those two things. And this Bengals team literally has everything else except an offensive line and a defense. So...
Yeah, and we're seeing, how Chase Brown, I mean, that offensive line is now affecting him as well with his production and his efficiency. It's just, the run game is getting harder and harder to get established. I mean, he only had 37 yards yesterday on the ground. I mean, he had 75 through the air with 8 catches, but it's like, how much often are you going to do dink and dunk? And like, you need to protect your asset, which is Joe Burrow, and currently right now Joe Flacco. And this offensive line, I mean, the fact Flacco was putting up these numbers with that offensive line is a very good sign for the skilled position players, not the offensive line. Because it's still, I mean, God, I mean, 470 yards and 4 touchdowns. I think that's just Flacco being the veteran that he is, and knowing when, how, where to get the ball out. And yeah, Bengals are just in a very, very tough. They went offense over defense, and we're seeing now it's kind of, I mean the defense is just so bad. And so I don't know what they do this season. I don't. I mean, it's just, again, you want to, they look good against the Steelers defense. They swamped them on Thursday night a couple weeks ago, and it's just, I don't know. I think the Bears are, I mean, not the Bears, the Bengals, excuse me, are just in a spiral, in the sense of, it's just score 40 points, give up 45, score 35, give up 38. It's just, Yeah, it's unfortunate for the Bengals,
Truly is. Truly
but
is.
on the other hand, though, the Bears.
Let's talk about it.
Bears looked good yesterday.
Yes, the Bears looked really, really good, scoring, again, like I said, 47 points. And what hurt me specifically, this is just a me problem here, is how does Rome Odunze get 0 points when they score 47 points? I mean, this guy has been a top wide receiver week in and week out. And you knew going against the Bengals, they don't have a defense, but they have an offense, so it's going to be a shootout. Here we go. Rome Odunze, 0 of 3. Meanwhile, Colston Loveland, DJ Moore, everybody else gets to eat. Here I am with Rome Odunze, watching him lay a goose egg. But, man, overall, I mean, it doesn't worry me for the rest of the season. It's just a little frustrating. It's fantasy for you. But the Bears, this is what you've waited since the 80s to see from the Bears. I mean, for all those Bears fans that were alive then, I mean, this is what you have waited nearly 40 years for. And anybody born in the last 20 years, this is what you've waited for, is a season like this. And it's all starting to come together. It's all starting to come together. What's your thoughts of the Bears and truly how far they can maybe even go this season and maybe an early projection for next year?
Yeah, so I mean, I think they're doing really good. Obviously exceeding expectations. I mean, Williams with 280 yards, 3 touchdowns, plus a reception touchdown yesterday as well. I think the one thing that's kind of holding them back is that run game and their pass defense. So it's not. And granted, I mean, they dropped. I mean, they had Higgins and Chase. So I mean, I don't think, regardless if you have the best air defense in the league, I mean, with those two guys, but I've been fairly very impressed with them this year. But I think the one thing is just that ground game finally got answered, maybe possibly with Mononge. 26 rushes, 176 yards. He's putting up Rico Dowdle numbers. 3 catches, 22 yards. I mean, he took control of that backfield. And as much as I like DeAndre Swift, UGA, but I feel like he's just been not the back that they wanted. He does offer that, dual threat back. But I mean, hey, with how good Mononge looked yesterday, it's just, if they can unlock this with the Ben Johnston offense, and Caleb Williams looks like he's playing better each and every week. I feel like if they can get this ground game going with him, and he has a firm control of it. Like if he's somehow on your waiver, wire, pick him up immediately. Like you don't even have to worry about Britton Brown, because I mean 5 rushes for 37 yards, and a touchdown. Nothing to sneeze at right there. But I mean 26 rushes compared to 5. I think that's a firm control of the backfield. Really impressed with what I saw from him. Loveland, obviously that long touchdown that really saved his that didn't really save his fantasy day, but it helped add to it.
Yeah.
118 yards, 2 touchdowns, and then Moore with 4 catches and 72 yards. I really like what I'm seeing from this Bears offense and just the Bears team in general. Like again, they gave a 40+ yesterday, so that's an issue to discuss. But I think especially with the Lions losing yesterday and then the Packers losing yesterday, they're in firm contention for that division, and I could very well see them making the play. I don't think they're going to win the division, but they could sneak into the wild card. And especially if they just beef up the defense, next year in free agency and in the draft. I mean, hey, again, like you said, Chicago fans since the 80s, last 20 years, you want to. This is what you want to see, and hopefully it's not a 1-year thing. But maybe Ben Johnson was that guru that they really needed to unlock. So really impressed by them.
I agree, man. I agree, and I see what you're doing there a little bit. You're digging a little bit at DeAndre Swift. I forgot to mention it at the top of the show, but we will be defending ourselves today. Defend Yourself is going to be the segment right after this 3-game highlight. I'll be talking about DeAndre Swift. But I'm going to save it for that segment. But for now, we're going to transition here to the Chargers versus the Titans. This was a 27-20 victory for the Chargers, but one of the uglier games yesterday, in my opinion. This Titans team, for a lack of, any other word, is just pathetic. And I feel so bad for Cam Ward. Are there some bright spots? Yes. Although the Titans defense going against a struggling, injured Chargers offensive line, so that helps. But this Titans defense actually did look pretty good. The only touchdowns in this game for Tennessee came by their defense. And while that's incredible for sure, 14 defensive points is great, this offense is bad. Ridley was out, so there's that. But outside of a couple of okay at best running backs in Spears and Pollard, Cam Ward has literally, and I mean this, literally nothing. His offensive line is atrocious. His wide receiver core is a bunch of wide receiver 3s and 4s running around out there. The play calling half of the time is head scratching at best. And no matter how good Cam Ward is, the greatest thing about this game is the team aspect. And Tennessee's team sucks. So I was wondering, watching this game, are they playing to win or are they playing trying not to lose? When Tennessee gets a lead, and when they had a lead in this game for a small amount of time against the Chargers, at one point I thought, yeah, this team is not playing to run up the score. Rather, they're just playing to, hold on to this lead. It's like they freak out, they get scared, and now they're just trying not to lose. And there's a difference there. Also, I was thinking, is this team playing for the 101 or 102? Not for a quarterback, obviously, but my gosh, it's bad. Anyway, Chargers were solid, but without the O-line intact, I don't know how far they can actually take this team in the playoffs. But Ben, overall, your thoughts, both Chargers and Titans, after this game?
Yeah, I mean, you hit it on the head with the Titans. I mean, dude, they suck. They are atrocious. I mean, I wanna give some leniency towards Ward. I mean, 145 scoreless yards. They have Elik Ayomar and Chimera Dyke. I mean, I know I'm butchering those names, but
weird.
Their first two, they're still young, and so I don't think, but I don't think they came into the league, drafting free agency, whatever, to be that number one option, because you're coming in thinking, all right, Calvin Ridley's going to be the number one option. I can work on my two, but then now you're thrusted into being that number one, and we just haven't really seen what. I mean, again, Elik had a couple 3-game stretch where he did pretty good, then he's kind of fallen off these last couple of weeks, and Dyke had a great game yesterday. I mean, last week, and then he had a punt return touchdown yesterday, and so but I mean, one catch for 5 yards, that's it's very concerning, just in the sense of, if they're going the 101 or 102, which is what they're looking like. I mean, do you go for a receiver? I haven't done all that much research on the upcoming, yet. So we'll obviously do that as the time approaches. But do you really? I mean, is there really a truly number one person from college who can step in and be that? Because I think Ridley might be. Ridley's not the answer. All right, he's not. He thrust him into the wide receiver 2, wide receiver 3 role. All right, that's gonna be good. But you need a true number one, and so I think Titans need a lot of fixing up. Yeah. In terms of the Chargers, very, very, very disappointed in Vital Kamani.
Kamani Vidal.
I think. I mean,
Kamani Vidal.
But I'm gonna say vital, because he was vital to my loss yesterday. All right, because 12 rushes for 30 yards, and Jared Patterson, 9 rushes for 44 yards. Is there some trouble there? I know, Hampton's coming back, and Alfire and Najee's gone for the rest of the year, but it's like, it's just a very concerning thing for the run game. But again, I mean, hey, it was good seeing Johnston back in there, getting a touchdown, and Gatson looks to be tied in 1, obviously. I think, and Herbert, you want to see more, especially going up against the Tennessee Titans defense. But 250 for two touchdowns, I'm not. I mean, hey, it's not really a lot to take away, in the sense of they can still win that division. Yeah. I still think they can. But think, depending on the running game, because I mean, hey, they've had up and downs with that. I think the passing game is fantastic. I think it's great. I think it's just a slightly off week for him in the grand scheme of things. We think 250 and 2 touchdowns is a bad week for Herbert. Then I mean, hey, that passing attack, that's pretty good. Yeah. So
that's like an above average Jalen Hurts day right there.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's just, I think, and it just felt like kind of a trap game. Teams go, teams kind of struggle with, with these lackluster teams that are playing for nothing essentially. But yeah, overall, Titans need to go back to the drawing board immediately, and Chargers try to figure out that O line and try to figure out the run game. And I think the sky's the limit for them, especially with hey, if the Chiefs are 5-3 right now, you gotta make sure you are winning your games, all right? Because there will come a time where the Chiefs will somehow bounce back. Same thing with the Broncos. Broncos and Chargers need to keep the ball rolling.
Yep, I agree. Well, speaking of the ball rolling, let's move it here to the third one, and that's the Steelers and the Colts. Steelers get a 27-20 victory against this Colts team that was 7-1 entering the game. Steelers are now 5-3. Colts are now 7-2. But this is what a game been. It's your team, man. Let me hear it.
It was a very, very rough first quarter to watch, or really the rough first half. It just the offense did not look good, did not capitalize on any of the muffed punt. We did not capitalize on it, missing down on fourth downs, dropped balls. I was texting one of my friends, and I was just like, dude, like I'm done watching, and this was like just 6 minutes into the game. I was like, this is, I think we're gonna lose.
Right.
But hey, we stepped up, and our defense actually showed why they are the highest paid defense in the league. There's a reason. So, 6 takeaways from them yesterday. So very, very impressive with the Colts offense, which was on a historic pace. Just in the grand scheme of things, just scoring on every red zone trip, and the one of the best offenses in the league. And it started to look like that because Alec Pierce was tearing us up, and Daniel Jones was just, with Josh Downs and all, like it felt like, all right, they're just going to pass it down. And then they haven't even got Jonathan Taylor involved yet. So there's only a matter of time, with for that to happen. And so, but luckily, defense finally stepped up. It feels good to actually say that. It feels good.
Ironically, after your fan base literally had a funeral, a coffin set up outside of the stadium with the defense inside the coffin. They were literally having a funeral, praying for it before the game started, already accepting the fact, how is a defensive-minded head coach in Mike Tomlin paying this much money to a defense that is awful? But then y'all come out against, say what you will about Daniel Jones, but against one of the best teams this season, 7-1, against one of the best teams this season, and win. That has to feel good, but also, like, are you excited going forward this season about the Steelers, or in the back of your mind is it still like, going into the next game, I hate watching this team this year?
I still hate watching this team. I think it's just one of those where the defense stepped up, and like how I said with the Chargers having a trap game with the Titans, the Colts may have had a trap game, with the Steelers. I think at the end of the day, there's only so much our defense can do. And luckily, again, we usually get killed on the ground and through the, we just get killed regardless. But 14 rushes for 45 yards for JT, a borderline MVP candidate. And Pierce and Pittman went over 100 yards, but I think my worries is the offense. The offense is just still bad. Our leading receiver was Calvin Austin for 56 yards. Rodgers is near the bottom in the league when it comes to yards per game, and he only had 203 today, touchdown. Darnell, 4 for 6 for 43. Metcalf only had 6 yards. 6 yards. Got a couple of red zone looks, so there's that. But I feel like this offense is gonna it's just gonna sputter. It's just gonna keep doing what it's doing, and I think the defense. Hey, we had a good a good day yesterday. 6 takeaways finally. We had 10 takeaways, I think, in the first 4 weeks. And then the last 4 weeks, we haven't had anything. But then, yesterday we had 6. So it's like, as long as we get the takeaways, and I know it could be just common sense. Yeah. If we get those takeaways, I think our offense will do enough, because we have arguably the best kicker in the league, in my opinion. So we know he's going to be good. But I just think the offense with Arthur Smith, it just needs something needs to change. Like, whether that's trading, hopefully, for a receiver, because good
we
God
got till
Almighty,
midnight tonight, I believe.
One.
So
Yeah, but honestly, I don't think that's going to happen. So I mean, I think it's a great win. We needed it.
Yeah.
We're still top of the division. Just keep getting these grindy wins out. Hopefully, this is a stepping point for the defense to just be like, hey, we stopped we stopped the Colts. We stopped the best team in the league. Let's continue on, all right. But with Ravens getting Lamar Jackson back, and the Bengals, I'm not really worried about them, but their offense looks really, really freaking good. And Cleveland's Cleveland, so it's like
Yeah.
you just have. Yeah, it's going to be tough. So I mean, I think the Colts. I think the Colts have really nothing to worry about. Hopefully, this isn't like a confident chatter with Daniel Jones or whatnot. But yeah, overall, I think the Colts are going to be fine. The Steelers, hopefully this is just a step in the right direction.
Yeah, I mean, something that's interesting is, we hear it everywhere he goes. Every Arthur Smith offense is something's got to change. Something's got to change. Why are we utilizing 3 tight ends instead of our actual stud guys? When he was in Atlanta, it's why are we not using Bijan Robinson? Why instead are we using some wide receiver 3 and tight end 4 on the depth chart to score our, touchdowns instead of Kyle Pitts? Why are we throwing it to Jonnu Smith instead of, Drake London or Darnell Mooney? Why are we throwing it to, the guy we picked up off the street last week? I don't know. Arthur Smith offense, it's always like he's playing 4D chess, but against like nobody, because it's just stupid. But anyway, that being said, great set of games outside of just these 3. But now let's move on to the next segment here, Defend Yourself. And before we get into this, if you haven't started using Prediction Strike yet, you might need to defend yourself, because right now when you use Prediction Strike, use code DDS when depositing a minimum deposit of at least $10 over on Prediction Strike. You're going to get a deposit match bonus of up to $150, a free share of a player, and when you use their Pick'em, so the over-under game that they have over there on the Prediction Strike app, if you use $10 over on Pick'ems, your first Pick'ems win, you'll get an additional $100. Just make sure you use code DDS, capital D, capital D, capital S. Use code DDS over on Prediction Strike. It lets them know we sent you, and couldn't thank Prediction Strike enough. Now, with Defend Yourself, we're picking 2 takes that we've each had over this season, but that the internet has reacted against, and very negatively, if you will. And the most recent one with Ben is the Devonta Smith take. So he stated last week, or maybe it was 2 weeks ago, I can't remember. But anyway, the video was posted, this past week, that Devonta Smith is better than T. Higgins. Now, we're going to go back and forth on this, but Ben, you're going to have to defend yourself here. Why would you say Devonta Smith is not better? Actually, rather, I said that wrong. You said Devonta Smith is not better than T. Higgins. You said T. Higgins is better than Devonta Smith. So, Ben, go ahead and defend yourself on why you think T. Higgins is better than Devonta Smith.
Yeah, so I think I could see the argument, all right, for Smith. However, I mean, I just got some stats here, all right. So I mean, like Higgins, in terms of, I think Devonta Smith, in the sense of being a number 2, I think he can produce better as a number 2 than a number 1. Higgins, especially with the fact that he was already going to go to another team, or he was tempting to go to another team, he will be a number 1 option, and we've seen him be a number 1 option. We have, I mean, he has way higher upside for the fantasy points, this year. Higgins, I'm not including yesterday, haven't factored that number in, but he 118 PPR points to Devonta Smith's 115, so only Higgins got 3 more. Smith does offer higher average per game, but I just feel like with Higgins, he's much more reliable with 25 catches on 47 targets, 360 yards. Again, this is not including yesterday. He had a big day yesterday. 8 20-plus yard catches and 4 touchdowns. He's a bit younger than Smith, but I just think Smith might have the safest floor, but Higgins has a higher upside, especially with that passing attack. We're seeing him more and more and more, and I'm talking about Higgins right here. It is unlocked it has unlocked Higgins. With the fact he's producing this much with Jamar Chase, and I know you might say, well, Jamar Chase is the number one. They're having the top guy on him, but I mean, they have the top guy on AJ Brown. They're not going to have the top guy on Devonta.
I was about to say you could say the same thing for Devonta Smith to AJ Brown.
Yeah, and so, but I think just in terms of efficiency, I think Smith does edge out Higgins a little bit. But again, you look at the upside, you look at the tangibles, you look at just the proven wide receiver one that he's able to do. And I know there's a little bit of injury, history there with Higgins, but he stayed fairly healthy recently, and again, he balled out yesterday in that shootout with the Bears, and I think the one thing that's holding Smith back is that Eagles offense that is run heavy. Although the passing attack is now surging, it's getting there. But I think Smith is benefiting from the fact that AJ Brown is the number one. Whereas I think even if Chase was down, Higgins would still put up just as good numbers as the number one than Devonta Smith would. So I think Smith, he's efficient. Safe floor. Higgins, much higher upside, much higher potential to be that true wide receiver one for a team.
All right, so I'm going to push back a little bit, and then I'm going to give you a chance to change your mind or to just stay put. You can stay put if you want, but I'm going to push back a little bit. So Devonta Smith and T. Higgins. This is just looking at the total amount of games that both have played. So obviously Devonta Smith came into the league in 2021, and T. Higgins came into the league at 2020. But through 71 games that Devonta Smith has played, he's had 496 targets, 352 receptions, 4,599 yards, 9.43 yards per target, 13.13 yards per catch, and 29 touchdowns. T. Higgins, although he came in the year prior, due to injuries, has only played 8 more games than Devonta Smith. He's had 560 targets, 356 receptions, so 4 more receptions. This is where T. Higgins does have that edge to Devonta Smith. Devonta Smith had 4,599 yards. T. Higgins has 4,968 yards and only 8 more games played. That includes yesterday's game. Okay, so that includes yesterday. I'm including yesterday into this. 8.74 yards per target to Devonta Smith's 9.43, but 14.11 yards per catch to Devonta Smith's 13.13, and 38 touchdowns for T. Higgins. Now, this is where my pushback comes in. This is in an 8-game difference between the two, but availability is an ability. And Devonta Smith, bar none, has been way healthier than T. Higgins over the years and makes insane catches that I don't know if T. Higgins can make. I know that body-wise, he's kind of got that better frame as your prototypical wide receiver one. T. Higgins does to Devonta Smith. In my opinion, I think Devonta Smith, if both of them played the same amount of games, I think we would be seeing maybe a little less yards still by Smith, just because, like you said, it's the offense is holding them back. But I do think, we saw Devonta Smith as a wide receiver one that rookie season, and he barely had less than 1,000 yards. It was like 900-something yards. Now, that offense was not that good. It was a trash can season. But regardless, I would personally give the edge to Devonta Smith as a better route runner, faster, and a lot better, just contested catches than T. Higgins. But I want to ask you, Ben, so are you saying that T. Higgins v. Devonta Smith, just individual, take them out of their offenses and place them in the same type of offense, T. Higgins is still better? Or are you just saying due to their current offenses, T. Higgins is better?
You put T. Higgins on the Raiders and Devonta Smith on the Raiders in 2 alternate timelines. Higgins is going to produce way better. Wow. So, yes. Higgins, not just because of the offense, he's balling out. You put him on any offense, he's going to produce better than Devonta, and he's 2 months younger. So hey,
yeah, there's the 2-month age difference. Alrighty, well, I will. Hey, listen, I'll agree to disagree here. I'm leaning Smith, you're leaning Higgins, and once again, we'll see what the internet has to say about it. So I said that DeAndre Swift needs to be traded for a few weeks ago and could finish a top 15 running back this year. I got a lot of slack for that. But that was during their bye week that I stated he should be traded for. And I think at the beginning of the year, I stated he would finish a top 15 running back. Now, to begin the season, I was eating my words. Coming out of that bye week, he has had 2 or 3, I would have to look again, I can't remember, 2 or 3 consecutive 100-plus yard games. and has been lighting it up in this offense. DeAndre Swift, I still believe, can finish a top 15 running back in this offense. We'll just have to see. But now you can't trade for him. So, I mean, I still stand by what I said during their bye week, that you should have traded for him then because he hadn't had any of these explosive games. Now, I didn't think he was going to have this big of games, but I still believe he can finish a top 15 running back. If he keeps doing just 80% of what he's done on a week-to-week basis right now, he will finish a top 15 running back. I'm going to stand by that. And yeah, I'm going to defend it right then and there. Ben, your second one here, last one for you, is that you said you would have Jalen Waddle over Chris Olave. You said that you would rather have Jalen Waddle over Chris Olave when we were talking about who the Giants could possibly get. But just in general, you would rather have Jalen Waddle as your wide receiver than Chris Olave. Now, this one's a little bit 50-50 on the internet. Not as bad as the Smith take, but it's recent enough. So I wanted to kind of get you to defend yourself on why you would say you would rather have Glassbones Waddle over to a concussion of wide receivers Chris Olave.
Yeah, so I mean, hey, you just gave me all the reasons right there. So yeah, I'd rather take Waddle over Olave. I knew I was kind of going back and forth, on that segment last time. I was like, I was just so torn, I couldn't really make up my mind. But now everything I am confident to say I would do Waddle, because just look at these stats again, not including yesterday. Waddle 41 catches on 59 targets, 586 yards, compared to Olave 52 catches on 83 targets but 503 yards. Olave has 9.4 yards per catch. Waddle has 14.3. Waddle has 14 20-plus yard catches and 4 touchdowns. Olave has 10 20-plus yard catches and 3 touchdowns.
Did not know that.
Yeah, and if you look at the fantasy points, Olave slightly edges him out more. 128 PPR points to Waddle, 124. 14.2 points per game for Olave compared to Waddle, 13.8. 52 snaps per game for Olave, then 42 snaps per game for Waddle. Okay. However, I think so far, Waddle would benefit from a trade. And I know that's kind of a random point, but I do think both of these people get traded away. I think Waddle will benefit because, like you say, the best availability. The best ability is availability. Yeah. All right, and again, I stand by Olave is the Tua of receivers when it comes to concussions, because I feel like he's just one more concussion away from really calling it quits, because he was already contemplating retirement earlier. And so I think, Waddle has had more catches, 350 throughout his career, 350 for 4,715 yards. Or Olave, 243 catches for 3,068. He's played one more season, so I mean there is that. But, he's got 3 1,000-yard seasons in his first 4. He's already demonstrated wide receiver 1 production, Waddle has. And, doing so right now, is it a better offense? Because you look at Waddle, I think he is much more of that true possession receiver that we know. And I think they will eventually probably trade him in the offseason or whatnot. But in terms of right now, I have more confidence in Tua feeding the ball to Waddle, even though that offense is still, I mean, just that team in general, the Miami Dolphins suck. But right across, the Saints are not that much better. And so I think it's just the uncertainty with the QB with Olave right now. I'd rather have the confidence in Tua giving Waddle the ball right now, even though I think Olave has the big play potential. I think he can still be the wide receiver 1, obviously, but I think Waddle has just shown more. I know he's been in the league just one more season, but he's been healthy, and I truly think that Waddle right now is the better option. Whether it's redraft, whether it's dynasty, I like Waddle over Olave. I'd get rid of Olave probably kind of as soon, because I mean, what are they going to do with their quarterback situation? I think that offense itself is just not. Is really just not working. And I think the fact that they really have no one on that offense than Olave, and that's why Olave's points and targets are a little up. But with Waddle, it's like, yeah, you got A-Chain back there who's going to eat up a lot of the work on the ground, a lot of work in the passing game. Then you got Malik Washington also surging too. But really, outside of Olave, I mean, you got Shaheed. I love myself some Shaheed, all right? I do. But again, I just don't think right now that Olave's in a better spot to produce more than Waddle going right now, I think going forward. You can maybe make more of an argument for redraft because, again, he is that de facto number one in that Saints offense. But right now, I go with Waddle.
Love it.
Because he's much more possession receivers, PPR. That's your guy.
Yeah, and I don't really push back on this one. I'm pretty good to agree with that. I really do love Olave. The concussion take, I agree with. I think that he would be a cheaper wide receiver to trade for than, or no, I'm sorry. Yeah, he probably would be a cheaper receiver just because, both of them have to get paid. That you can maybe split hairs on that, but yeah, I'm not going to push back on that one too much. Now, this one, I truly still don't know maybe where you stand. So this is the second one of mine that I got to defend myself on, which is Brian Thomas Jr. is not the problem. So this has been one of my biggest tweets lately, one of the bigger videos lately, and the podcast episode where I went hard on saying he's not the problem is one of the most downloaded podcast episodes this year. And I'm going to stand by the fact that I do not believe the sole issue of his down season this year is Brian Thomas Jr. I don't believe he's the problem. I think there's a lot of factors around him, but I don't think it's a guy who finished wide receiver 4 last season is all of a sudden the problem this season. He literally finished wide receiver 4 as a rookie in an offense that was in and out with quarterback play, a different passing game, a different head coach. And now this year, you get a new head coach. You get Shane Waldron, who I can't stand for fantasy purposes. Real NFL, you like him. But for fantasy purposes, I can't stand him. Every time he's in an offense, it's kind of like Arthur Smith. It's like, ugh. It's just head scratching. It's just like, oh, what are we doing? New head coach, Shane Waldron, and the possibility that Trevor is just not that guy for Brian Thomas Jr. Those are all the reasons I think it is, but I do not believe that Brian Thomas Jr. is the issue to him not having that great of a season. So that's my take. I stand by it. Shane Waldron, everywhere he goes, it's for fantasy purposes. You don't like what's happening with the receivers. As soon as he leaves, Cooper Kupp Triple Crown season. As soon as he leaves, JSN breaks out. As soon as he leaves, Rome Odunze's having a season this year. He comes to Jacksonville. Brian Thomas Jr. goes from wide receiver 4 to a terrible season. I mean, Ben, what do you have to say about Brian Thomas Jr. not being the problem? Are you agreeing with me, or do I just need to stand on an island over here and keep defending myself?
No, I mean, hey, you can stand on the island. I'll be kind of offshore a little bit, feeding you some rations here and there, because I do partially agree. Because I think it's, again, you look at the reason why he finished wide receiver 4 last year was because of Mac Jones. I think, and maybe it was the offensive system, but Mac Jones coming in there, he's like, all right, hey, I'm gonna pepper this guy with as many targets as possible. He's my number one guy for a reason, and that's why my whole thing is it's crazy how some of these backup quarterbacks will instantly send, like, I mean with Flacco coming in, Jamar Chase, against the Steelers, 20 plus targets. Like. They know how to, and I don't know if, I think we might have to talk about Trevor Lawrence and see if he's actually going to be that guy, because I just don't see. And I don't know. Thomas isn't helping with his body language, and he's had some brutal drops as well. So I think it's kind of affecting him in that sense. I think he's a lot more to blame than what you're saying in terms of Brian Thomas. But they are obviously other factors. Trevor Lawrence primarily being it. He really hasn't gotten a true number one that he has right now, and throughout his career, like before Brian Thomas, I don't know who their number one guy was. Ridley.
Ridley was there, Christian Kirk was there, but those guys aren't true alpha wide receiver ones.
Yeah.
That Brian Thomas Jr. talent wise is not worse than Malik Neighbors. Is that a hot take?
Yeah,
is Brian Thomas Jr. and Malik Neighbors not on the same wavelength here?
In the sense of what they are, like, I think I'd rather have Neighbors. Actually, I don't think I would take Neighbors over Brian Thomas, but they're not that far off. It's like if it's like 1A, it's like, maybe like 1C, not 1A, 1B, but, probably, they're
Would you
still,
say
they're still
Brian
in
Thomas
that
Jr.?
realm
You would
because,
say Malik Neighbors is a top 10 wide receiver, right? Like you would say on his own, he's a top 10 wide
yeah.
receiver.
Oh, yeah. Easy.
Would you say
Easy.
Brian Thomas Jr. is top 10, top 12 wide receiver?
I would say he's top 12.
Okay,
Yeah.
top 12.
I would say top
Even
12.
at 12, mathematically and logically speaking, would say he's a true wide receiver one, even if he's the 12th best receiver in the league. So Trevor Lawrence has a wide receiver one, has that true wide receiver one.
Yeah.
But, I mean, the development here of either Trevor Lawrence, this new system, I don't get it.
Mm. Yeah, I mean, I think at the end of the day, I mean, Brian Thomas is a wide receiver one. All right, I think he proved that last year. I think it's a combination of, almost like how Marvin Harrison struggled in the beginning of the year. Just with drops, he couldn't get it going. It's probably a combination of what Brian Thomas is going through, but also the quarterback play. Because I think Trevor Lawrence is much more to blame right now because I guess he's still adapting to having that number one receiver. I guess he's still don't know if he's trying to do something good on himself, trying to prove like, oh, I don't need a wide receiver one, or I can feed up all these other guys, so. I think, yeah, I don't think Brian Thomas is fully to blame. I think he's a little bit more to blame just because of the brutal drops he's had and the body language and everything. But your points, I do see. So I'm not going to push back entirely on it, but I do see your points.
Okay.
Though.
I mean, I'm on the island. You are sending me some MREs. You are sending me some food every now and then.
Exactly. Yeah.
But you're not going to come join me. You're not getting off the boat that you're. Okay.
No. I'll give you breakfast, lunch, and dinner. But I'm staying here. I'm grilling. I'm cooking.
Yeah.
You can have the MREs.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Love it. All righty. Well, let's move on here to some NFL news. We'll just kind of go over some of this. So Luke McCaffrey broke his collarbone, out the rest of the season. The Giants have held trade talks with teams in recent weeks about offensive lineman Evan Neal and wide receiver Jalen Hyatt. So was Jalen Hyatt, I can't remember. I think he was a first-round pick. If not, maybe second or third round. I know he was one of the top guys out of Tennessee. I think he won the Biletnikoff Award at Tennessee. Can't remember too much. The Bengals' offensive players were absolutely roasting their defense, and this is what I was going to get to earlier. Several Bengals defensive players declined to speak with media or just outright laughed, quote, "catch you on Monday," when asked about the team's embarrassing defensive showing yesterday. Chris Jenkins, Shamar Stewart, Jordan Battle, Miles Murphy, and TJ Slayton were among the players who all declined to even speak to media. I mean, this defense is in shambles for sure. Jackson Dart was asked about the overwhelming amount of 49ers fans at MetLife Stadium yesterday, and he said, quote, "That was interesting. I've never played at a home game where I felt like it was kind of lopsided in that department. They have a good fan base, and they traveled very well," end quote. And Jackson Dart, I'll get to him in a little bit later, but what a performance by him. Packer star tight end Tucker Kraft is feared to have suffered a serious knee injury. I haven't seen the update on that. I don't know if you have, but the last thing I saw was it was a potential ACL tear out for season, but more than likely that's probably what it is. Also, speaking of out for season, the 49ers fear that edge Mikael Williams tore his ACL against the Giants. The injuries just can't stop for San Francisco. 4 turnovers for the Steelers defense in yesterday's game, or possibly 6, I can't remember. Fans held a funeral service before the game. We talked about that. Daniel Jones has the same number of turnovers yesterday, which was 3, that he had in the first 8 weeks of the season combined. So all the turnovers that he had the first 8 weeks combined, he had that same amount in yesterday's game. The Steelers defense was crazy. Chargers star left tackle Joe Alt cannot put any weight on his leg and was being carted off the field yesterday, so that prayers up for him. A couple more things here, and then I want to get into a possible quarterback controversy discussion with you. The 49ers have been receiving trade calls for wide receiver Juwan Jennings. Interesting, they just gave him that mini contract extension before the season. He was complaining very hard about his contract situation. Dolphins head coach Mike McDaniel is staying for the foreseeable future with the hope that he continues to coach through 2025 and beyond. Per Ian Rappaport, a change could possibly be made if the team keeps losing and the players quit on him. Now, my question to you is, Chris Greer is gone. He's out with the Dolphins. So if you're the Dolphins if you're the Dolphins organization, when you brought Mike McDaniel in, you hadn't paid Tua yet, and Mike McDaniel made Tua look like that insane Tua season where Tua takes them to the playoffs. They lose embarrassingly to the Chiefs, but either way, he has an incredible season, and Mike McDaniel, his voice was the one that pushed Tua as he's this insanely accurate quarterback. He's not been used the right way. He's actually a top quarterback in the league. Let me do my thing with him. So here we are just a few years removed for that, where the Dolphins still have this insane contract that they've got to pay Tua. If you're the organization, even if you're the Dolphins and you get the 101, would you, Ben, allow Mike McDaniel to stay with this new QB, or would you offer him an offensive coordinator position, or you're going to have to leave and bring in a new head coach for this new, what could be era of Dolphins, just the Dolphins organization in general, if they were to have the 101 and go get a brand new quarterback, trade Tua, similar to or maybe they don't trade him, but maybe similar to a Michael Penix, Kirk Cousins situation in Atlanta. I mean, are you keeping Mike McDaniel or no?
Ooh, I mean, it's tough, but I think you got to cut bait. I mean, I think Miami has to do a fire sale here. I mean, Tyreek is, expressing that he wants to return, but he's only saying that because he got injured, and I feel like he just wants that, he wants that money now because I don't think a team is going to want to pay him a lot of money now.
Right.
So, you got Tyreek Hill more than likely gone. They're already listening to Waddle. Although I don't think a Waddle trade is going to happen this season. I think in the offseason, something will be much more, they'll get the ball rolling on that. But I think Tua, I just don't think he's the guy. I mean, he had that good season with McDaniels, and it looks like he's starting to improve. But almost with all these new coaches or new systems or whatever, they work well for that one season, and then defenses will pick up on it. And I just feel like especially with what the Miami Dolphins are like right now, the fact they are going to get the 101 or 102 pick in the draft, and this year's quarterback draft looks pretty decent from what I can tell. Again, not everyone has declared or whatnot, but from the potential, it's looking to be a pretty good class. And I think with Tua, I don't think he's gonna want a deduction, when it comes to his contract. I think he's going to want to play as much, get paid as much as possible. And so I think McDaniels, I just think he's gone. I think it's just, you need to cut bait. The experiment is over. I think he will find a job somewhere else, but I just don't think the Dolphins are going to want it there because they fired their general manager already. Mm-hmm. So I feel like if they fire the GM, more often than not, the coach is going to follow.
Yeah, the coach is next.
So I think right now you might just get as much as you can right now because you're just running a risk with Tua getting one injury away. You don't want to extend him, then he gets a concussion, then he's gone. Yep. You don't want Waddle's value to tank because of that. You got A-Chain. I feel bad for him because he's really the only one that's probably still tied up there. But you still got a couple good years left for him, so you don't really got to worry about the run game. I mean, you got Ollie Gordon there as well, and so and Jalen Wright. So your backs are good, but I just think right now with just how incompetent this team looks at times. Yeah. I think McDaniels has lost the locker room. I just think, I think it's just time to fire sale. Get rid of everyone. Just restart. Hey, take it from the top.
Love it.
So,
love it. Dolphins safety Mika Fitzpatrick, who the team acquired in the offseason, is drawing trade interest from a number of teams per Tom Pelissero. He's a guy to watch approaching the trade deadline. And then last thing here before we get into the studs and duds, Mac Jones was incredible against the Giants. And so my question to you, Ben, is do the 49ers actually have a QB controversy, considering they just paid Brock Purdy? So even though he's injured, they just gave him literally a top 3 quarterback contract in the NFL going forward. So he is the starter. But we know that in this draft, when it was Trey Lance, Mac Jones, Justin Fields, all these quarterbacks, it was Mac Jones is who this coaching staff truly wanted. And they had to pivot. They went Trey Lance instead, but Mac Jones is who they really wanted. Now they've got Mac Jones, and he's lighting it up. He's working in this system insanely well. So do the 49ers have a situation at quarterback? Or is this Mac Jones knows his place, and after this year, he finds a new home?
Well, correct me. What's Mike Jones' contract with them right now?
It's just a one-year deal, I believe, Mac Jones is with the 49ers. So
Okay. I mean, I think it's starting to brew a little bit. I think Purdy, just whenever he's back, he's gonna start because you can't just pay someone all that money and then not get out because it's like, I mean, hey, you've injuries happen. You want you want to give them the benefit of the doubt, and you also just don't want to make your franchise look weak or dumb for giving
like
this
they
guy
already did with Trey
one
Lance.
of the largest contracts.
I mean, they had a
Yeah,
cut bait
exactly.
early with
So
them, and that made them look stupid.
yes, and so and it's exactly that. And so I feel like Purdy is going to play and is going to start. I think until the end of the year. However, I think the 49ers and I think Mac Jones might even sense it too. It's like I could have a spot right here because. I mean, of course, you could go. I mean, there's plenty of other jobs that could use Mac Jones, but if that was Mac Jones, I think with the fact that you're playing really good right now, better than what Purdy's done so far this
Right.
year, but Purdy has been hurt. I think Purdy's just he's going to start because I just think the 49ers just don't want another Trey Lance situation. They're going to give him the benefit of the doubt, start him, play him. And if it comes to the point where the production just is not there, it's lacking, then I think they might. Again, it just depends on if Mac Jones is going to express interest, which I think he is. I think he is one of those guys who can be a starting quarterback. We've seen what he can do in the right system, and so I don't think as of right now it's a controversy, but it is brewing at the moment. It's definitely getting a little warm for Brock Purdy's seat.
Love it.
Okay, yeah.
Right. Alrighty, so let's
Okay.
move into the studs and duds from Week 9 so far. So, Ben, I'm going to let you start. When it comes to the draft, this one I'm going to go ahead and take first here. So with the studs, I got Brock Bowers obviously at the top. So at the top, Brock Bowers tied in one on the week. Definitely showing everybody, number one, who invested in him at the beginning of the season. It's going to take till Week 9, but I promise I'll return on that investment. Brock Bowers was incredible. He was incredible in this game. And like I said, currently the tied in one on the week probably isn't going to change after tonight. Brock Bowers, absolute stud from Week 9. Ben, who you got to start?
Yeah, so for one of my studs, I have the new RB1 of the Panthers, Rico Dowdle.
Yes.
I mean, 25 rushes, a $130 and 2 touchdowns. I mean, I love Chuba. I'm glad I traded him for a first rounder next year, so thank you for that.
RIP to me. RIP to me.
Yeah. But yeah, I think Dowdle, I mean, hey, he's the RB1. I mean, the production is there. I mean, insane numbers. And the fact that I think after all is said and done this week, he's going to be, I want to say top 3 or definitely top 4.
Yeah, this week now, he's currently the RB. I've got this written down because he was one of mine as well. Currently the RB2 on the week so far.
Yeah, so I mean, he's and then just in the rush yards, like leading the league in rushing yards. I mean, he's already top 5 with the lack of games he's already started out the year, and the fact he's already top 5 and he's probably going to be top 3. Yeah, Dowdle, phenomenal, league winner Dowdle right here. Okay,
love it.
That is congratulations.
RIP to me with Chuba. I was a big Chuba fan. The contract still states I'm a huge Chuba fan. I don't know what the Panthers are going to do about this. I mean, it's like I was texting, in our group chat yesterday, champagne problems with the 49ers when it comes to Mac Jones and Brock Purdy. I mean, this is champagne problems when it comes to the Panthers with Rico Dowdle and Chuba Hubbard. I mean, it's a good, bad situation to be in when you've got 2 running backs that are both good. I mean, Chuba is a really good running back. He didn't get the contract for nothing, but Rico Dowdle has came in and it's just been insane. It's been insane. So, definitely tough. T. Higgins, currently the wide receiver 2 on the week, is my next stud here. I mean, we already talked massively about this. T. Higgins, what an insane day for him. The whole T. Higgins, Jamar Chase, if you had those guys, they've been revived with Joe Flacco. So my next stud here was T. Higgins. Who's your next one, Ben?
My next one, we mentioned him earlier going back to that. I mean, you could put any Bengals and Bears player on this list realistically, other than we'll get to him later. Um, it's going to be Kyle Monaghay.
Yes.
It is 26 rushes for a buck 76. He didn't get a touchdown, but the fact he had 26 rushes, 17.6 fantasy points, standard PPR points to get up to about 20, depending on if it's half or full.
Yeah.
But really balled out. New RB1 potentially. I know you said DeAndre Swift's been balling out, but with a performance like this, there could be a running back controversy now because, I just think he was a great pickup to start with Swift being out. And if you started him, as I went up against him in a lot of my leagues, and I have lost in all my leagues other than one. So, all those people had Monaghay. So,
truly unfortunate. My last stud here, we had the same about Rico Dowdle, so I'm going to say my last one here was Jackson Dart. Currently the QB7 on the week. Without Cam Scatterbo, without Malik Neighbors, Jackson Dart, he's out. QB7 on the week, and I love what this team is doing with next to nothing around him. So Jackson Dart, got to give it to him. QB7 on the week. Who is your last stud here, Ben?
Yeah, so I'm going to go with a little bit of a different route here. I'm going to go with a record-breaking player. I'm talking about Cam Little. Hit that 68-yard field goal, a new NFL record yesterday. 3 extra points, a 30-yard field goal, and a 40-yard field goal equals 14 points for a fantasy kicker. Pretty darn good, but a record-breaking day for Little. Little with a big leg, so hey, it's good for him after having a couple of rough weeks. So bouncing back like that, hitting that 68-yarder, he's definitively stud of the week for me.
Love it. Alrighty, so let's talk about the duds. And Ben, why don't you handle this part, and then we'll get into the draft.
Yeah, so go ahead and just speed run these because I think they're pretty self-explanatory. First and foremost, we're going to be talking about Rome Odunze.
Oh, yeah.
Goose egg. Bust of the week, dud of the week. How do you have 40-plus points scored and you don't have a single catch? I'd rather have a catch with -3 yards than 0. Like, just give me something. Yeah. Just give me a catch at least. Next up, we got Jahmyr Gibbs. Really, really crapped the bed. 9 rushes for 25 yards. 3 targets, 3 catches, 3 yards. But yeah, just nothing. Yeah. 3, all across the board. But really expected a bigger game from him, especially coming off of career, weeks, these last couple of weeks, and really a great year that he's been having. But credit to the Minnesota Vikings defense, very stout. They held him right. So, but unfortunately, he needed a big game. He did not go well. So next one up is going to be Kamani Vidal. 12 rushes for 30 yards. That's it. That's almost inexcusable playing the Titans. Almost lost. Almost lost the touches to Patterson. So very disappointing, especially the last 2 weeks that he's had. And then to round us off here, we got DK Metcalf. 2 catches on 4 targets for 6 yards.
Bum.
Just bum. Get the bozo out of here, all right? Because holy crap. Granted, he had a couple red zone looks, but it doesn't matter. You don't get you don't get potential points, all right? You only get the points that you get. And Metcalf crapped the bed. Good God Almighty, get these duds out of here. Hopefully they'll bounce back next week. There's plenty more, but those are the 4 that stood out for me.
Love it, man. Alrighty, so let's get into the moment that everybody's been waiting for. This is the draft. So we're drafting top 5 garden center items, things that you can get at the Walmart Garden Center, Home Depot, Lowe's, that you would use in a battle, in a war. Now, Ben, I'm going to let you start this one. You get the 101. This, of course, being a snake draft, I get my 2 back-to-back. So, Ben, where are you going with your 101?
So I think if you would allow me this pick, I think this is a clear-cut answer, all right? You need something with ferocity. You need something that is going to actually save your life, all right? And what's more guard and center than just give me the number 1? Give me the axe, all right? Give me the
Okay.
axe. You can
Yeah.
get those in. I've seen them at garden centers before, so let the record show I have seen them. But
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, axe. Come on, medieval. All right, medieval people used them. Primary weapons, dual wielded in games. You know,
Mm.
I think the axe, no doubt, is number 1.
I love it. Love it. Number 1 is axe for you. So my 101 is going to be a pitchfork in that same kind of, realm that you're going there. You got to have something to on the attack. And so of course my first one is going to be a pitchfork. And I'm not talking about those like really short ones that have like 6 different stabs to them. I'm talking about the long pitchforks, the comically long ones that have about 3 different points to it. So that's going to be my 101. And then to defend myself, you also got to have defense here. So it's not all about the attack. Sometimes you got to know when to peel back and defend yourself. And I'm going to go with a metal trash can lid. So kind of use that as like a shield. So I've got pitchfork and metal trash can lid as my 1-2 there. You've got axe 101, and that's going to work. That's going to work. Not as much against as an axe, but metal trash can lid for sure has to be up there.
Yeah, you know what? I did not have that down, but that might be the best pick right there. Yeah, because I mean, hey, it could be a shield, but then also do a WWE style and just dink him over the head with it. You know,
ruin your one metal trash can lid with one WWE move. Yeah.
yeah. You just use it once, and then yeah, it's done for. Really good pick. I'm gonna stick with the offensive side here. All right.
Okay.
As much as I have the axe, that can carry some weight right there. So I need something quick. I need something fast, all right, to counter it. Give me the hoe, all right? And I'm talking about the small, all right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm.
So, yeah, I mean, hey, it's a dagger-like, I swing with the axe, get out the hoe, and then, I mean, just quick like that, me. There you
It's a
go.
little bit more up close action there.
Exactly. So, next up, so I got the hoe, I got the axe. I'm just gonna go with the classic. I'm just gonna go with the classic. Again,
I don't know
stay
what's
on the
classic
offensive
about a
side here.
garden center
I'm gonna
battle
get the
royale here.
shovel. Imma get the
Okay.
shovel.
Yeah.
Imma get the shovel.
Love it.
Yeah, I think, again, I mean, hey, long just in case if the axe gets imbued in something, and I can't get it out, you get the shovel, and then, hey, that's my bash weapon, So I'm good. I'm loving my picks right now. You got nothing.
Well, I've got defense. You literally have 0 defense with any of these picks. I don't know how you're holding an axe, a small hoe, and a shovel with all your hands. But you've got
Pockets.
them there. You've got yeah, deep pockets. Alrighty. So your first 3 picks is axe, a small hoe specifically, and a shovel. Shovel's a great pick. I definitely got to say that. Mine is pitchfork, metal trash can lid as defense. Now, I'm gonna go a little bit different here. So, of course, this has to have the straps on the back so that I can wear it. But you know those multi-purpose like weed pump sprayers where you pump it and then you spray it? You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
So wearing that, and if you get too close, I'm going to pump it and spray it in your eyes. So I've got the pitchfork, and then I've got the metal trash can lid for defense. But also, we're going to get a little, war crimey here with the spray, with the
Okay.
weed spray in the eyes. I mean, that definitely is going to get you to back off. After I've gotten you back off, I'm going to run around a tree with my 4th pick, and it is a wheelbarrow, but my point here with the wheelbarrow is to flip it and me hide underneath it somewhere. So kind of as like a bomb shelter.
Okay.
That's how I'm using the
Kinda
wheelbarrow.
like solid snake action there. Metal Gear Solid
yes.
action.
Yes. Now, if I've sprayed you in the eyes with my weed spray and you can't see, I might use it to like shove you underneath it and like dump you off a cliff somewhere. But more specifically, when I was thinking wheelbarrow, I was thinking, where can I take it and hide and let it use as like a bomb shelter, if you will. So, back, wearing it as a backpack, we've seen that with the landscape guys. Weed pump sprayer and a wheelbarrow is my next 2. What you got here for your final 2 picks here, Ben?
So I'm gonna raise you. No, I'm gonna call your mobile wheelbarrow, and I'm gonna raise you another one. Give
Okay.
me the lawnmower. All right. I need to be fast. I need to go quick.
Yeah.
All right. So
Yeah.
to escape the pesticide, the poison gas. I got to get on this lawnmower.
Yeah.
Cut these corners tight and
Oh,
whatnot.
so
And hey, if I catch
you're
you
talking
under it,
about a riding one, not a push one.
um,
Like a zero turn, like the ones that they're using landscape and they're getting out of there pretty quickly.
yeah. Give me one of those.
All right. All right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
But
got
I
you.
mean, hey,
I got you.
it's quick. It could be used as a weapon as well as my escape because you ain't hitting me with the pesticide gas. All right, you're not gonna hit me
Yeah.
with it. So, and your wheelbarrow ain't got nothing on me. So
That was
to
good.
round it,
That is a great pick. I mean, I was thinking like you running over me and like blending me, but when you brought up the escapability there, I mean,
exactly.
some of those lawnmowers can get up to like 30 miles per hour. Some of them can.
I'm just saying. Exactly. I mean,
It's a
hey,
good,
you
good
can
pick.
you can catch some speed on those things.
Yeah, good pick. Good pick.
All right, and you know what? We'll round it out with this one. All right. What's better than the one-on-one?
Mm,
It's having a companion. It's
okay.
having multiple allies. Give me the birdhouse. All right. Give me
What?
the birdhouse. Let me get some feeder in there, and then I'm gonna get all these type of birds coming in, strap it to my back. All right. And then I get these birds, and you
What?
know what? Yeah, yeah. No, hear me out on this one.
Yeah,
You'll be
you're gonna
so
have to
distracted by
explain
the
this because I don't understand how this like. It's great if you're like 80 years old trying to look at these things, but I don't know how a bird feeder is going to help you in a battle.
No, well, like a birdhouse / bird feeder to where I'm getting the birds to fly in on me, all right? I then already have my companions right here that by this point of, if I'm carrying a bird feeder on me,
Yeah,
the
yeah.
birds are going to be trained essentially, all right? So, yeah, so I mean, come on. So
Yeah.
you get the birds, they'll distract you, they'll peck at you, and all that while you're being distracted. I'll come by and
Mm.
I'll hoe you in the leg or I get a shovel and bonk you in
Okay.
the head or whatnot. And then hey, I get these birds, especially if I get the small hose, hey,
Mm.
I strap them onto the birds, and then guess what? You got flying daggers. All right. You got
Yeah, that's
flying,
smart. That's smart.
you
Kind of
got
like
flying here.
Home
All right. I'm
Alone
thinking
when
outside the box.
they throw the bird feed and all those birds attack them.
Exactly. Be like, yeah, just throw it, and then you realize they don't do anything, and so I may, it's kind of might be a wasted pick, but you know what?
Yeah.
I'm thinking outside the box here. All right. I strap it to the lawnmower. I'm good. I'm
Yeah.
fine.
All right. Hey,
Great
I
pick
still
by
got.
me. That's still the draft.
Hey, that's fine. That's fine. I still got one more. And my last pick here was actually you said small hoe. So I'm going to let you have that. I kind of classified mine as like one of those metal flower scoopers, but I think we might be talking about the same thing. Just a tiny little dagger of sorts, if you will.
Yeah.
So I'm going to switch. I'm going to bring up one of my honorable mentions. I'm going to, activate them to the active roster here, if you will. And my final pick is going to be water hose. And let me explain as to why. So, of course, if I have a water hose, and we're talking, this could be 30, 40, 50 feet of a water hose here. If I've got you sprayed in the eyes with this pump sprayer and I'm wanting to interrogate you, I'm wrapping you up with the water hose. If for nothing else, I guess this could get real morbid real quick. I guess I could use it for other purposes, but bare minimum, handcuffs. Bare minimum, strap you to a chair. You see what I'm saying with the water hose? So, and also, if nothing else, use it as a whip. Like if you're a little bit out of my reach and I don't want to throw the other things that I have at you, use the water hose as a whip, get you knocked down a little bit, or like they do with cattle, kind of use it in that way and grab the bottom
Yeah.
of your ankles. You see what I'm saying?
Exactly. And hey, if you're already having the gas and committing war crimes, then hey, you can waterboard me with the hose. So it's like
Yeah.
it's right up your alley. It's
Yes. Yes.
and hey, with the water, you can shoot down my birds with that. It works well because you put your thumb on the hose. That thing's like,
Yes.
that
Yes.
thing
The
is
thumb. Mm-hmm.
velocity.
Yeah, velocity for sure.
Velocity right there.
So your 5 was axe, a small hoe, a shovel, riding lawnmower, specifically zero turn, and a birdhouse that you strapped to your back. And then mine was pitchfork, metal trash can lid, weed sprayer backpack, a wheelbarrow, and a water hose. Y'all can Y'all can comment down below who had the better top 5 of this gentleman's draft of Garden Center
Easy.
items we'd like to use in a war. But
Easy.
let's talk about the honorable mentions here. I'll start off and then I'll let you finish. So my honorable mentions, I'm still throwing stuff at your eyes. So I had potting soil on here. So throw that at your eyes. Again, same thing with like sand or something. But potting soil specifically. A heavy duty, now in my research, of course, a lot of people calling these loppers. I had never heard it called a lopper. I always heard it called either shears or like a pruner, but I'm talking the big one here. We're not talking tiny little hand one. I'm talking got to use both arms. Talk about cutting off some fingers or some toes during interrogation. A super duty brush axe, although you had axe, so I can't really use that. And then my last one here was either like one of those handle or bow saws. So some sort of saw. Potting soil, a pruner, and a saw were my 3 honorable mentions.
Not bad at all. With mine, I had shears, just straight up shears.
Yeah.
For mine, also I had a mattock.
Okay.
Just a little, pickaxey type pick. I don't know if this would count as one. It's kind of up in the air. I didn't pick it because it may have felt like cheating, but I had machete.
I think that's what, when you look up super duty brush axe, it's not actually like an axe. It actually is like a machete of sorts, like just a sword that they say, oh yeah, it's like you go into a garden center and they're actually selling swords, but they just classify it as like, yeah, this is for like brush or something. I don't know, but it's actually a sword.
Okay, yeah. You know what? Looking at it now, that plays. I'd say it's the same thing. I also had pesticides in there. Just for the gas one. And that's really it. That rounded out my honorable mentions. So again, loved your pick of the gas or the weed stuff.
Yeah.
Really,
really good. That one was a must. Yeah, I appreciate it. Really love your. If I had to say your best one had to be the lawnmower. I mean, I didn't even think of that. That wasn't even in my honorable mentions. Wasn't anywhere. And that one definitely, in my opinion, was your best pick. The 0-turn lawnmower. But again, y'all can decide down below. Ben had axe, small hoe, shovel, riding lawnmower, and a birdhouse. That's just the weakest pick. There's no way anybody agrees with a birdhouse. Like, you definitely explained it.
You are not seeing the vision right now. Be a hater all you want, all right? Birdhouse is the way to go.
You had better honorable mentions. That one should have been left on the bench. Mine was pitchfork, metal trash can lid, weed sprayer, backpack, a wheelbarrow, and water hose. And that's going to do it for today's episode. Make sure you guys leave a 5-star review wherever you're listening on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube. And you can follow Daily Dynasty Show everywhere now. Shout out to the Instagram battle. The original page is still ongoing since August, but as of right now, you can look up Daily Dynasty Show, and our what will more than likely be main page is somewhat back. I mean, if I get the original page back, great. If not, whatever, follow the new one, Daily Dynasty Show, over on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, Twitter. Look up Daily Dynasty Show. You can follow over there as well. Can't thank you guys enough. And until the next episode, see ya.